Association's Reinventing the Tattoo community, where tattooers, apprentices, and collectors are encouraged to join live events, share, and inspire to create better art and tattoos together every day. You may be beaming in from YouTube or Facebook or listening to the podcast, but you can always get the latest event schedule and notification in the official Reinventing the Tattoo community. You can find the Reinventing the Tattoo app in both of your app stores, Apple or Google Play, and you can also find us at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. We have on-demand replays can be found in our library. We have tons of tattoo and art rabbit holes. This show, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, webinars. We are beaming out 3 to 7 awesome shows a week on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. We also have some upcoming pro development and on-demand shows that are really exciting for us. We'll have the Philosophy of Tattooing on June 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern. We also have Andre Malcolm. He's doing a koi sleeve design webinar, which you can find online. We can kind of reference that later if you're interested as well for more information. All right, so we also have some pretty cool weekly events as well that I'd like to highlight here. Jason Lesser has Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Reinventing the Tattoo Drawing Group. We also have Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network, which is an affiliate of ours, live every single Monday morning. So bring your drawing, bring something that you're working on, and maybe even get critiqued by other artists in real time. Beyond that, we are going to be traveling soon, but not too soon. In November, we'll be at the Brussels Tattoo Convention. We also have a new event that we're excited. The Rock River Expo is coming back. It'll be here in July 8th to 10th, 2022. Before we kick it off to Damon over there, we're going to shout out our sponsors too. We've got D-Lives Pro, which is new, protect your art. If you're still using clean wrap, this is designed for healing, for your tattoo debris. Check out some of the videos we have in the community as well. We have Raw Pigments, and they're an ink company that's tapping directly into the source. They have acrylic-free colors. They maintain a consistent viscosity across all of their pigments. Some really stellar feedback that we're getting from artists. If you're interested in a sample as well, we've got goodie bags available that you can sign up for. In closing, we also have inkjet stencils, which they are amazing, saving artists their hands and their time. If you'd like a sample of those, again, Donna offers those right there in the sponsor section of our app. I think tonight is going to be very special. It's meaningful to a lot of tattoo artists, a lot of collectors across the world, and we're really appreciative of Damon for doing this awesome live lettering session with us. Let's get started. How you doing, Damon?
Hey, Lauren, I am doing well. Thank you very much. Out here in Humboldt County, California.
Well, Humboldt County, huh?
Yeah. I'm excited to be out here. My shop is called Second Sight Tattoo. I've been out in Humboldt County for, the shop's been open here for about 8 years. Having a lot of fun. So yeah, let's talk about what we're doing. I had a chance years ago to get a big tattoo from Boog. I was working at the Hollywood Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Miami. And he just so happened to walk in one day while we're all working. So that was an awesome surprise. And also happened to be right at the same time that Wyclef Jean was at the Hard Rock, and he was doing a performance. And then Wyclef wanted a shirt made to wear on stage. And so Boog and I got to draw up a shirt for Wyclef to wear that said May 1st immigration rights and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. That's awesome. Yeah, it was, I mean, that place was, you never knew who would walk in the door. And it was awesome to see him. And I got a chance to hang out with him for a weekend. And some of my good friends that I've worked with it's like almost half the people that you work with or run into have tattoos from him, you know, or if you're from Texas or Dallas or around there, some notable tattooers like Billy Jack and those like. Oh,
I love Billy Jack.
OG.
Awesome. Yeah, he's actually tattooing all day today in honor of Boog for his birthday down in Dallas.
You know, and a lot of people, anyone that knew him, you know, he made such an impact anywhere that he went, you know, and is about the most prolific. You know, if you know of a more prolific flash artist or someone who's given back more designs to the industry, maybe Rand Johnson, but I don't know, maybe not even, you know, as many as Boog. You know,
unreal.
I light one up here because I know that's what Boog would be doing. You know, and you would hear, and I heard directly from him. I mean, he would sit down at night. He's an inspiration to me because he would sit down, you know, in a hotel room somewhere while he's doing all kind of other things, tattooed all day and whatnot, and probably has more the next day. And then he would sit down and do 10 sheets of flash, you know, do an entire set of flash, like in one sitting. I don't know if you know that about him, but yeah, that's the way he liked to do things a lot of times.
Unreal.
So if you can kind of see, can you see my?
Yep, it looks perfect. It's centered. Awesome.
Cool. To get started a little bit, we'll do a little bit of the napkin practice. That's something that is kind of an OG trick. It helps to give you that a little bit more finesse with what you're doing. I'm just using a little ballpoint pen refill thing here, which is the kind of thing that you would use a lot of times if you're going to draw on somebody, you know, for a tattoo. If I can lower my chair, that's about it. Which all these things seem kind of like a hindrance, you know, like, why don't you use nice paper and nice pencils and stuff? Because you're just trying, it's like the Kung Fu thing of it, you know, you don't want to be tearing through the paper. If you can use what you learn there onto the regular paper and on people's skin, you know, you're not going to be brutalizing them so much in the process, I think. And that's kind of where you see some of the people that are really the OG masters of it, or like, you know, Samuel Brigante or Sam Taylor, but Brigante especially, like you can move your hand in one motion and have like 3 different line weights to the thing, like literally, you know, just super, super skinny and thin. So one good way when you're doing lettering, most of your lettering is composed of, let me be shouting. Most of your lettering is composed of just a couple of shapes, you know, of like the O kind of A shape, and then the ascender kind of L thing, O's and A's and whatnot like that. So on my napkin here, also, yeah, a lot of tattooers, I was saying before we got started, I think a lot of tattooers or people, if you're tuning in and if lettering is not your thing, then these are kind of some of the areas where you want to just start with. And I was, you know, like I was saying with Lauren, I don't proclaim to be the master at this at all. I'm here to learn along with you guys. And if anyone has any questions, I don't know if there's anyone, I can't see if there's anyone in the chat or anything, but Lauren, let me know if anyone has any.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's several people watching, but no one really active in the chat quite yet.
Or tips or anything like that. Like,
sure.
I'd love to see someone else zoom in here and show me some other kind of tips and tricks like that too. So just to get started, let's see. Classic one. We'll just do like an in loving memory here real quick. And you know, when you're laying out something like that with your client in front of you, you're at a bar or whatever, you're doing a quick sketch, or they come in for a thing, this is a good thing to grab whatever's nearby, and you know, they'll love that. They'll be impressed. And so when you're doing, and we'll start out with the, like I said, the in loving memory thing here, and the napkin really makes you kind of focus on what the pen is doing and how it's reacting with the paper. I'm also just kind of, I kind of do lettering quite a bit, so I kind of tend to just fitting them in there as I go. But a good thing to do when you're starting out is to just kind of give a quick maybe spacing, like plan out a little bit where your little letters are going to go and space them just right. After a while, you won't really have to do that, but it definitely helps to get the ascenders and the angles all matching, because that's the most important thing, is that all these angles and really line up and match. Anytime you see somebody like Norm or Boog doing that stuff, or Brigante, they just effortlessly all the ascenders match and all the circles like are all kind of the same. And you can play with that as far as you adding your details and stuff here too. So let's see. And I'm not super married to my little lines there by any means. I'm just making sure and it helps me to kind of visualize overall the layout of the thing. When I first started, I've been tattooing for 23 years, since the 90s. And, we would always, you had like two choices. You had the lettering book, and they're either going to pick the script or Old English out of it. You're going to hope they don't pick the Old English. But then you're going to grab tracing paper and struggle through tracing out each one of those letters. And then you might even, it was like without getting vulgar. Yeah, it was a fucking shit show sometimes, having to like cut out each letter separately and put that stencil on the person, that you just look like you're just fucking around when you're doing that. And then so I started working with some people in whole different crowd of folks in California, bunch of awesome artists in Mission Beach Tattoo and in Lake Tahoe Tattoo. And my buddy Carlos and a couple of these other guys, I would watch them lettering and like, man, you got to give me an alphabet and some homework and stuff here, Carlos, so I can bust it out like you guys a little more, years ago. And I focused on it for a little while. And like I said, I'm no expert at it, but I can get her done, and to the point of drawing it on people when they come in, or being able to do something like this where you can at least seal the deal with the client and then work on it more from there, And sometimes it might take on 2-3 more, tries after that. But hopefully these days, it's nice when you get like at least a, somewhat reasonable first try. You don't want to have to, in front of your client, like, throw the paper away and try again if you can help it.
Absolutely. Doesn't really help at all.
And I don't have 100 different ways that I do these things, which is something that I like to work on, and was something that that blew my mind about Boog. Like, he grabbed a pencil and a paper and was showing us, like in the space of just a minute, showed me like 5 different ways of doing an M, and like doing the things in the middle, like with the diamond or with a double diamond thing, or I can't even remember, it just blowing my mind how quick and easy he could do that. I'm starting to beat up the paper a little bit, but let's see. But it's one of those things that you're going to get a lot of call for if you want. Do people even do street shop tattooing anymore? I don't know. But if
they do, actually. I went to like 2,000 shops a few years back, or for several years, and I was, I guess, mind blown at some of the stuff I didn't know existed anymore.
Yeah, I tattooed all in Florida and in casinos for a while, and areas where you might do 10 tattoos a day. All flash mostly, unless you get to draw something up or do some lettering. And it seems like those days are fading quick for, I don't really know. Everything, the idea of a custom artist is way more ingrained in the general public's mindset, I think, now than it was when I first started doing this, especially in the 90s.
When did you start tattooing, Damon?
I got my apprenticeship in 1996 when I was 20.
Okay.
At a biker shop in South Dakota called Skin and Bones Tattoo. They did my first few tattoos and stuff for me and stuff too, What
were some of your early influences at that time?
Oh man, I was starting to collect magazines and stuff. Like when I went to go even try for my apprenticeship, at that point I could already tell you, Jack Rudy's work from Gil Monte's and Bernie Luther's and, Little Vinnie Myers and, Edward Lee and like Paul Booth even a little bit later. But, all that stuff, I was intrigued, and would see the pictures of like, then I would look and you'd see convention pictures in the magazine sometimes. And then you would see, okay, well, this guy hangs out with that guy, you know, then you see people like Doc Dog and Gil Monty and Jack Rudy all hanging out. And like, man, those guys just seem super cool to me, you know,
Yeah.
growing up a kid in the 90s. And then later on in life, I got to smoke a joint with Jack Rudy and Gil Monty at the same time at Tony Olivis's convention in 2003, which was awesome. I have very fuzzy memories of it, but I know it did happen. So I'm excited.
That's the
I
best.
was excited to do that. I miss those times. You know, that's what the whole point of gravitating towards the Zoom thing and stuff, and at least being able to somewhat conversate with like-minded people and with the tattoo family. You know, I've always felt the whole thing is a big family, whether the youngsters really know that or not, or still feel that way or not. I know I feel that way still.
I mean, it's like a diet soda, right? You still get that carbonation, but it's just not the same. I mean, it is something.
Yeah. When you go to the learning kind of events, I think it's more that feeling, that vibe is kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the Paradise gatherings or at the conference I went to the Chicago conference. That was really fun. Okay, so yeah, napkin practice. Anyways, I would space that out a little bit differently, probably. You know, that shows me things like I don't like where two descenders, like with the G and the Y going right by each other. You know, I would change that kind of stuff up, things like that. You run into little, you know, you learn little things about that. Oh, so I would want to space that out a little bit more here. Maybe even do one more. I was getting a little chatty there. But yeah, something that you don't want to labor over the whole thing too terribly much when you're doing your first sketch, you know, it won't flow very well. And normally I use a Tombow pen if I'm going to draw on somebody. Sharpie kind of gets a little bit fuzzy, but I might use a fine tip Sharpie. But if anyone has any suggestions, I like those like surgical markers kind of things. But these old school, like I found a box of these bulk, you know, pen refills, and you can just throw those away after the client, but they wipe off them like pretty easily for sure. Maybe tuck that maybe underneath, like good reason to add a little banner. Of course, you got to have basic kind of banner chops if you want to draw those on your clients and stuff. One thing I really like that I think maybe goes over some clients' heads sometimes is when guys like really switch up and have, you know, 3 different fonts or 2 different ones, you know, or styles. I think that's really cool. And that's something that I'm going to work on too with my stuff. But I think if you switch it up too much, you kind of sometimes lose a little bit of legibility, which is always the battle of legibility. Let's see. It's like, do you make it super legible or super stylish? You know, I got this piece on my hand here. It says "Time Flies." It's by a guy called John Caleb, who's a sewing artist. He's a really good letterer guy. But most people can't read it. I can hardly read it. Let's see. Cool. So I think what we're going to do here, a little bit of practice. Oops. Is that bouncing around like crazy? Okay, I can kind of see that now. Thank you for that, Lauren. Also, what we have here, handy dandy, is we have our every tattooer worth of salt should have one of these. The Boog book from the Streets with Love. I was lucky enough to get this from the man himself. In fact, I think I traded him some weed for it, if I remember properly. Let's see. Whoops. Which, yeah, you can find that online, really, if you don't have one. I'm not saying our efforts today are going to be equal, but we're going to look at that as something to shoot for, right? Let's see. Having a little white wine. Oh, and I have some IPA here too. Maybe I'll have some of that. Spark of a joint. And I think we'll do our ABCs. I was gonna do a black pen. I'll show you guys something that real quick with the black and gold pen here. Maybe I don't want to necessarily run away from the thing, but black with the gold pen is really nice. I just didn't know if that was gonna read too well on the camera. Cool. So with my handy dandy diamond script nearby for me to consult here. Let's see. Don't have really room for that. So does anyone in the chat got tattoos from Boog or have any Boog stories they can zoom in and share? That would be cool. I've got a big tattoo on my leg from him. I can probably kind of show it to you guys. It's kind of a non-traditional Boog style piece, but you remember he was doing stuff like with Japanese style and hanging out like with Henning Jorgensen and those kind of guys. So I don't know if you can probably see it, but it's two koi on my whole leg right there. It covers from my knee to my ankle, and it took him 4 hours to do that. He made like 3 marks with a pen, like where things kind of were going to go, and just went to town. Anyone who's been tattooed by him knows he just like goes to town. It goes all over my kneecap and was just grinding away on my kneecap, but it was awesome. So we're going to lay out like a alphabet thing here. I think what I'm going to do is do the capital letter and then do the lowercase like right next to it. Kind of thing that kind of shows a little interaction between the 2 letters and stuff here too. Previously, I've got my mid-tone like paper here, which is like a beige kind of color. And I like that. I don't like to draw straight on white paper too much anymore. It's just maybe a personal preference thing, but we're also going to use a little bit of white charcoal pencil type thing here for our little highlight type spots, which is always fun. Kind of almost simulates a tattoo a little bit. So I think that I'm going to start just a little bit with the non-photo blue pencil just to get the feel of things a little bit, just because I'm just going to try to lay it down. But then after that, a word about pencils. I have a 2B and a 6B. I like the softer type stuff. So I'm going to try that 6B. If that's a little too soft, I might go and starts getting too dull too quick. I might go with the 2B. But I'm also going to show you a tip from old Boog Star on how to get your pencil lead just right. He didn't just start with the sharp lead like that. You take a piece of paper. We'll do that on a scratch piece of paper. Might as well do it right now while we're talking about it. I just got to grab a different piece of just scratch paper. So what you want to do? Oh yeah. Let's see, can you see that here? There we go. What you want to do to get your pencil lead just right is going to work for you the best is give a little angle on it, like take the tip down a notch to give it like a little kind of chisel point there. So it's like noticeably flat, like on one side. And then Boog showed me this himself. And then that way when you lay it on there, now I don't know that I'm going to be able to necessarily do it justice, but I'll try to exaggerate a little bit to like, you guys are, anyone playing along here or drawing with us. Let's see. So, Lauren, I don't know if you can tell or kind of see, or if I could hold that up a little closer, but like, you know, the line.
A little to the left. Okay.
You know, you give it a little more woods along your curves and lighten up a bit. And when you do that while holding it with that chisel tip, that'll help you to do that and emulate calligraphy kind of a little bit more. It's kind of what we're really trying to do. It's like simulated calligraphy. Especially evident kind of in your chings at the end. The chingaderos. Anyone else call them? We call them chings, chingaderos. The little shits that you put on there. That's literally Spanish for little shits.
Chingaderos, huh?
Chingaderos. You never heard of that one?
I've heard of it in other ways. Other ways. My sister owns a Mexican restaurant, so I hear stuff like that quite a bit.
Oh, chingaderos?
Yeah.
What does it mean at the Mexican restaurant? Little shits? Stuff
Little
like that?
shits. It's pretty much. You don't hear that often, though. Yep. See, this is easy to read and centered on the screen.
Oh, boom, right? Any client that wants a mom tattoo is going to be happy enough with you for that, and they're going to sit in your chair. That's the idea. Okay. Right? You could read that good enough and stuff, Lauren? Okay. Kind of
Yeah, absolutely. It's it could be pulled to the left a little bit to be centered. But yeah, it's,
I'll do my best with that as I go here.
the lighting's perfect.
No, but all right, let's start with our ABCs. Oh, let's see. I mean, just straight ABCs, like it's like more of a challenge than just busting out a quick word almost, it seems, but it's good to have, you know, it's just a good practice. Especially I'm going to try to emulate the diamond script, like if I can, as much as possible. Or maybe I might only have room to do this and that. We'll see. Here we go.
I can't see that top part.
Okay, let's see. I can bring that down a little bit. Probably a little better.
A little bit to the left, towards your hand, to the left, and you'll be good to go. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. So, seems my and the non-photo blue, anyone knows about that, is that's a good way to start your sketches. I don't know if a lot of people do that. Start the sketch with a red pencil, usually, you know, people do that. Which that whole technique, finding that out in the 90s, I went and got tattooed from people I looked up to, and Nick Strady at Uptown Tattoo in Minneapolis.
Okay.
This is the thing about going to get tattooed by people you looked up to. Well, this was way back when. That was the first time I'd ever seen anyone like do their sketch with a red pencil and then do an overlay sketch over the top of that, like with a micron or darker pencil. Okay. Rather than just trying to finish the drawing like on a piece of paper, almost like an art school, high school kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like struggling that way. You know, I'm trying to finish this drawing as I do it, like in a way, and up until then. You know, it's like when you think about it, it's a ridiculous and a difficult way to do things. And seeing him do that, like, was just a game changer for me, for sure.
Yeah.
And so much more fun. And I've seen people really get wild with that bottom sketch, and that you can't even tell what's going on hardly at all with that bottom sketch. And sometimes those types of tattooers are just excellent with what they can do like that, you know? Mm-hmm. So we got letter A here. See, I don't know if that, I'm going to try the 6B might be a little too soft for this paper. I'm going to try the 2. Here we go. I like that 2B. Well, let's see, I gotta add a little more chings. See, we got to make that more like a little diamond in the middle there to make it more like a official diamond script. I might have to kind of adjust that on my next one. We'll see. Yeah, falling into old habits. I just tend to do them this way each time. So we're going to, on our V, we'll try the official diamond.
Jerry P says that non-photo blue is a game changer, animations and illustration tricks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Any little place you can pick up your tricks, you know, like I did a little bit of graphic design and marketing like type stuff before my tattoo apprenticeship right out of high school. And they have some lettering classes and stuff in the, you know, in design class, and the way they lay out things and how precise they do it for that stuff was really cool to see. Let's see, I kind of want to bring this over a little bit. Like, let's see, I'm trying to, as I consult my diamond script here, I've resumed my old habits instead of trying to do that. So anyway. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Hey, let's keep her going here. This might take a minute, so we're just gonna rock and roll here for a minute. Another. Hang on here. Initially, I laid it out. I laid out a little bit of a guide with my non-photo here too, just because the red is more noticeable for you. It's easier to work with, kind of, but it makes more of a mess. And if this thing comes out all nice, then I might try to do some borders and stuff on it if we get to it here. So, yeah. All right. Figure this.
Jason and Gabe also say hello.
What's up, guys? Good to see you. Is Gabe doing some lettering practice, or is anyone else doing some lettering or just working on some projects?
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Okay.
Jerry said he had a place to go, but now he's lettering. It's funny.
Cool. Yeah, I wonder if it's something that anyone feels like they naturally were drawn to, or just like, you know, clients tend to think it's really no big deal. Like, oh, just write a name. Anyone can write a name, draw a name. And maybe some tattooers have had that experience with it. I don't know. I know my handwriting, I know I was did not feel good at it. Like when I first started, and my handwriting was atrocious, and like a lot of people probably. So slowing down and trying to make it like more elegant and whatnot is a constant like battle for me. It's just a practice of fighting my inner barbarian. Like, you know, I tend to make a mess of things Just, smash, like it's hard to not do that. Slow down, pay attention. Because the kind of lighter and the more, it is kind of a Zen thing. If I don't talk as much, you're like the lighter and more flow you can get into it, the nicer it's going to look. You don't want to look labored and stuff in that line. That's the more effortless it looks, the people that I look up to, that's what I look like. Like, man, it's love that stuff. It looks like they weren't even trying it out. Can't always say that for my stuff, but we get there in the end. So, in fact, I was picking up some dinner last night, and a guy at the pho place in front of me, I was looking at his arm. It said West Coast on the back of his arm. I was like, that looks pretty nice. It kind of looks like similar style. And he turns around, he's like, oh, Damen, oh, you did my lettering on my arm right here. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Years ago. Awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and one of those things like, he set up a thing where him and his girl hopefully come back in. And, oh, we've been wondering what you've been up to, all that stuff. So if you ever see your stuff out and about and in the wild, definitely take the time to say something to your client. Let's see. I made that middle part of the thing a little bit maybe big for my taste there, but yakking you guys too much. I work with another guy, Matt, who's really good at lettering, and if you get a chance to work with people who you can feed off of with those particular things, you pick up little tricks and stuff really quick. And kind of the cool thing about lettering are people that like to do it. It's not, for the most part, most guys aren't going to be like accuse you of biting their style or something just for picking up some tricks of some nice script lettering on their clients or something, Graffiti type stuff or whatever might be a little bit different story, but. It's always fun too, like when kind of a nice feeling when you're the guy at the shop. Sometimes, like I said, other people don't really do it. So you might be the guy where people are like, hey, can you write this name for me real quick? I got to tattoo it on this guy in like 5 minutes. Like, I need it. Yeah, hell yeah. Bust it.
Yeah, give me a paper towel. I got you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That stuff is always fun. Truck keeps going out here. Worthwhile mentioning Humboldt County. It's nice to be in a legal state here where we can fully partake if we like to while we're doing our homework. Join in the safety meeting podcast for anyone that doesn't know about that. Sundays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, where we generally smoke joints and talk about shit other than tattooing sometimes.
Yeah, it's literally 420 everywhere.
Sweet. Let's see. I'm sure we will have our detractors here and there for those kind of things. I often wonder if that's the deal, like, maybe everybody's flavor isn't for everybody else. If people have ever been like, oh, that guy smokes weed all day, I'm not getting tattooed by him. Maybe. That's okay. I'll keep tattooing my cool clients.
Exactly.
Be a little bit more open with it here in Humboldt to to a certain degree. You know, they got little cafes and they're starting to do the public smoking spots. They just were going to open all that up right when COVID happened, of course, like all these public smoking spots where you can actually go and partake with people and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which that's going to probably take quite a while before people are really comfortable, even myself included, with some of that stuff. Makes more sense. I just tend to roll one for everyone in the group now instead. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just kind of a relic of kind of hippie times when they're like of scarcity, like we have to share this joint because and it's a communal thing, but where did it come from? It's like it was more of a rare thing, and not everybody had their own. And passing things from each other lip to lip like that, I think we're gonna one day they'll look back at that and laugh and say like, what, they did what?
Yeah, it's definitely a significant part of my life. I really liked that experience, sharing together, you know, something so precious that you burn burn down.
Oh, you're in Wisconsin, like, so like, oh my goodness. Yeah, for sure. To even like put out a joint and when it's that.
Grab it with your fingernail. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like my friends would be always accusing me of cashing the bowl way too early and stuff.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's do some work here. Lay out maybe a few of these so I can get a flow going here. Some letters, give me more of a problem, of course, or just seem like weird in a way. And oddly enough, like deep, being the first letter of my name, you'd think I'd have a million ways to do it, but I don't know. It's got like so much different little stuff going on that sometimes I got to do it a few times. Let's see. This one's working though, kind of. See. I'll do just a few of these and then pencil them in at a time just to get the flow going a little bit. That's way easier for me. There we go. Trying to, again, adapt a little bit to stay true to the diamond script. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And some letters are favorites, like the capital E. That might be one of my favorites. I don't know why. There we go. One of my good friends, one of my very best friends, really, brother Aztec David. If anyone knows, if you're around Boog Circle or anything, you'll know David. He was blessed enough to travel the world with Boog and be his right-hand man and get things set up, and anywhere they went around the world. And he would tell me stories like, I would just pick his brain about like, man, what was it like? And Boog would like literally travel with like his machines and a bottle of black ink, and power supply, and like anything else, they would improvise. Fuck it, and so, and he did always black and gray tattoos. He didn't need to carry around colors. But anyway, I'm like, what did you use for ink caps? And he's like, dude, the fucking water bottle caps, like from a fresh water bottle. Like, and that's your rinse. Like you cut that in half, and that's your rinse cup. And then you've got your cap right there for your ink cap and water. Like boom, it's your setup. I heard stories about him tattooing people on the hood of cars, like doing a whole chest blaster, like on a guy on the hood of a lowrider car, like in the garage, like until all hours of the night. He would do, massive groups of giant tattoos. He could tattoo on a large scale, like almost no other that I've seen. was cool how internationally, he traveled and really got out there and made the most of it, of his talents and of his blessing and of his gift. Wow, did he make the most of it? Banked, he's traveled all around the world doing that stuff on models and famous people, and still stayed one of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet, and humble. I remember reading like one of the last posts that he had, something about that he might not put it in as good as everybody else, but he had fun doing it or something. And I was just like, man, what are you even talking about? Like, for him to be self-depreciating even in those moments and give it up to other people and stuff, like, says a lot about his character,
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Busting around. Okay, back to it. Can you see what I'm doing here? Here we go.
Yep.
We'll try to cover a little bit more ground here so this doesn't take 7 hours. And I might change a little thing here and there. Let's see. I have a issue like when like I'll make my C maybe a little different here, but like it's hard to tell the difference. Let's see. Okay, well, I see what he's doing there. I was looking at like, an E and a C, like when you cross maybe anyone who's watching, or if anyone has any other feelings about that, like when you cross over with Chingadero, kind of like, and inadvertently make another letter by doing that. Like, let's say I'm gonna make this lowercase c here. This is something I tell apprentices and stuff too, but this is just might be my own sort of neuroses and maybe not doing it right. But I'll have to make the C kind of like that or something, like, and try not to make it cross over right here so that it looks like an E. But yet, when I look at other examples and stuff, sometimes that doesn't matter. But I just don't like to leave the client with people like asking them what it says quite so much, if I can help that. It's fun to get a client who really lets you kind of get crazy with the details and with the chings and all that stuff, but most of the time they want to be able to read it, I think.
Yeah, I guess time and place, right? It depends on
You also
client.
kind of have to give people more credit, like, and for your brain to pick out the stuff. Like, I don't know, mine you probably really can't really see what it says, but like, a lot of times you can, if you're used to looking at that stuff, then you can read it. One thing that I really try to do, and kind of you try to keep your ascenders all the same width. Like when I first was getting started, and I'm not saying I'm doing an impeccable job of that, but when I first got started, it was really noticeable that they all are different. Like when you go to lay out a name or something like that, you want the thickness of all your ascenders and stuff to really be the same. Which makes sense. You can kind of see in your own work, as you work with it, you'll be like, oh yeah, like all these ascenders are going different ways and angles if you try to line them up, and all the freaking ascenders are different widths and whatnot. You can call it new school or whatever if you want, but okay. During this whole thing of not taking walk-ins for the last year, you know. Like I've been able, luckily, to just do a little bit of work on big projects, on sleeves that were already going on and things like that. But I just haven't done a random name off the street in a year or so,
Yeah.
which I wanted to do this specifically to work on the chops and stuff again, to hopefully get to where we're doing that again. But you know, usually I would be tasked with that since I like doing that and I could do it on the spot. I mean, you might do that every day, like, you know, like just a quick, people come in, or you're definitely doing it 3 times a week, like if not more, where people come in and they say, oh, I want to get my dog's name or my wife's name or freedom or family or whatever else, you know. And I've definitely had days where I look at it and I'm like, oh, I could have done a lot better. And they're just over the moon about it. Like, wow. And then I've had days where it just doesn't want to fire off, it seems like, and I'm like stuttering with it and like, all right, let me try again. Hopefully not as many. Ooh, we get to do an E. That's fun. How come some letters are more fun than others? Lauren, do you have an idea about that?
I don't know. Sometimes I like letters like G and L because they mean something to me in their own little way.
Yeah, I suppose my name is spelled with an E instead of an O, so I suppose I think the E is pretty special for me. It's the 5th letter, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Burn Something Candles, he commented on the YouTube video that he's made a lot of little cursive E's following along here. So
cool.
Yeah.
It's a good one to practice for the flow and everything. Oh yeah, you want to be light on that paper with the sharp pencil. My pencil started getting a little dull back here, like on the C there, and it just like what this paper that I'm using, I hadn't used before, and it's kind of soft and stuff, which is nice actually. I like it because it's, you know, your pencil's not just flying all over the place like with, you know, the what do you call it? Copy paper is probably some of the worst, like for drawing, like just if you're doing the quick sketch up in front of your client. That's another reason why I would like to use a ballpoint pen on a paper towel or a napkin, because the inherent flaws that are in there, because, you know, you're going to tattoo that better than that anyway. It's going to look a lot better than that. But they can look past that. If it's on a napkin, they understand that. When it's like a pen on a piece of paper and you had 3 Starbucks like immediately before that, you know, and you can see every little wobble and wiggle, and you've got a hard pencil and like, oh boy, you're liable to scare somebody off that way, I would think. I've never had that, but maybe I've had it and just don't know it. Like, where they leave, they're like, did you see that? That didn't look good at all. Well, it's a goddamn sketch, you know? Let's see.
Yeah. Clientele that, you know, they're somewhat there, but there's still a lot of confusion, let's just say, and expectations across the charts. Wisconsin, you know, New York, it gets bad out there.
I mean, what part of Wisconsin are you in again?
I'm in Appleton. I'm just talking to like the things that I've seen with various shops, like even in the Bronx. It's been pretty interesting. I saw a girl start a fight over spelling something. I forget the word now, but she wanted to spell it wrong and she didn't realize that type thing. But yeah, like you were saying before, you know,
to that effect, though, it's the arguing with the person about placement these days. Like I came up when you just didn't tattoo people below the wrist or above the neck at all. Like you just would tell them no, you know, like
Yeah.
If not, that would be the polite way to say it, like my mentors and stuff were even more old school than that. They would talk some shit or whatever, But now these days you don't dare tell somebody like where they can put something, really. Like they're definitely just gonna go get it somewhere else, and you're just a major asshole if you have any opinion on where they should put it, it seems.
Yeah.
Upside down, cross and stuff or not, which is always the fun one. You gotta laugh about that,
Yeah.
It's for me. Do we have t-shirts like that yet? I could make block print t-shirts. I definitely should print the upside down "it's for me," like one with a cross or something. I think that's been done though. Let's see. Okay. We got an E there. We're going all right here, right? With that so far, you can see that. Let's see.
Yep. Looks good.
Deviating a little bit from perfect diamond script, but that's what we practice for, because we're going to try to do that as we go along here. Where all the I'm going to see if I can get in my own way of doing this. F G H I. See, move this just a little bit and get a couple more in a row. Ooh, F is also fun. It's almost like it's like, I don't know. It's not like an E. It's just a fun letter. I think it's because of that little thing. Oh, you know what though? I love the uppercase F and I don't like the lowercase f. I always have issues with that. I'll try to definitely refer to El Diamond script. Let's see. It's the F. It's like sometimes it kind of looks like a B. Let's see. And it goes down here. So. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good one because I try to pay more attention to the reference. Let's see. Crank that one. And I know what else I was going to do. The little charcoal pencil thing here. We can hit that with some of the whites. Ooh, that looks nice. You can actually go into some of those areas. Oh, see, I'm mashing it down a little bit too much, but that's all right. Although Boog would be smoking giant blunts, like I can't hang quite that tough. Like I got to smoke some blunts with him at the Hard Rock in Miami. It's awesome.
Right on.
I've got let's see something kind of cool here, Lauren. I'm gonna grab something real quick. Over the years, I've always had this. I got this Omi at convention in 2003.
One second. Let me get that video on real quick.
It's a great Omi here. It's a little stuffed doll guy. You see it?
Yep.
And I've had it autographed like by a lot of tattoo greats, and there's and then I got it right here is the Boog star one. You see that? I don't know if you can see, it says Boog right there. Boom.
Right on.
Let's see, right by his ear right there. There's Freddie Corbin right here. And then Boog right there. Big guy and John Clue, Stan Moskovitz, Gil Monty, Tom Strom, all kinds of cool people on there.
Oh yeah.
I had to make sure and get Boog star on there. Let's see. don't know if anyone remembers this guy called Andy Gore. He used to travel with the conventions and have like a merch booth with kind of strange stuff, and he made those. Let's see. Lauren, how long have you been tattooing?
I'm not a tattooer, David.
Oh, okay. I thought you mentioned doing lettering stuff.
No, just drawing along for fun. I actually work for ink company.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, but I started with that like in 2013. So it's been a pretty interesting course, understanding how everything works, client relations and stuff, and it's fun. I definitely love the industry.
Right on. That's it's always a trip, kind of like people like you, yourself, and Gabe. Like I can really appreciate people who don't necessarily tattoo, but they give so much to the business and to the art form and to the business side of it that really we as tattooers don't always excel in, you know.
Yeah, I
It
think
takes
like
different kinds of minds, doesn't it, to have a whole kind of thing like that? Of course, you're gonna need other kind of people.
the flow is just so perfect. You know, like, and I do a lot of stuff. I love working with Gabe, by the way. A lot of that type of stuff is totally up my alley. So when I began working with reinventing, it was like a treasure. What to say.
Yeah, very cool. So
But yeah, I
computers,
mean, it's
your forte like that, or like you?
yeah, that's up my alley for sure. Traveling is another thing. So I couldn't think of a better place to be, even in my position, because I just booked my flight to go to Belgium. You know, it brings you everywhere, nonetheless.
It
I love it.
can, yeah. You know, especially I guess if you don't have to sit and tattoo clients all the time. Like that's the
I
only
mean, I'll
thing
sit
is
there
like
all
you
day,
travel
but
around as a tattooer, benefits, like pros and cons, guys, of like being on the road all the time and bouncing around and doing guest spots, or do you want to sit in your kind of neighborhood and like really just do big projects? You know, like nowadays Jeff and people like that really you don't see them going around doing too much. It's like the bigger body
yeah,
of work become like with people like Philip and Shige and Jeff and that level,
yeah.
the bigger body of work is more important than like having the bodysuits is more important. It seems
By the way,
to
the
me.
convention I'm talking about is um, I know Gabe's going as well. So if you want to look into it, feel free.
Is that the
It's in November.
in the Belgian one?
Yeah, it's in Brussels.
Oh, that sounds like a good time. Let's see. I know Boog would do it. Let's see.
Yeah, but if you want to join us, there's going to be some seminars and stuff like that. We've got a little group going.
Oh, cool. That sounds like a great time. I appreciate the invite, and I usually try to take that as a incentive to like really make it happen. You know, that's kind of the part of the tattoo family thing is that I've been lucky enough to experience that more by going through conventions and finding out like people like Bob Tyrell are just like the rest of us, you know, if not just a little bit cooler. And they're all super
Yes.
nice and will talk to you and stuff like that for the most part. And I mean, not like Nick Baxter, but like other people. No.
He's doing a seminar there, I believe.
That was a joke for Gabe. He just is some people are more stoic than others, you know what I mean? Like but Guy is very approachable. Anyone like, watching, he's like such a superstar, but at the same time, he's like just always been super friendly. And one of my first conventions experiences working working convention floor in Atlanta in 2003, I have show up and set up my booth, and I happened to be directly across the hallway from Guy Atchison. Like no pressure, right?
Yeah.
Like so I was like, oh crap. Like, which the interesting thing was, I had fun working there with them and getting to talk to them a little bit. And when your average client, your average person from Georgia looking at everyone's books and stuff like that, you know. I mean, I was busy working too, and they would say, yeah, you know, your stuff just seemed more like normal, like more
Yeah.
approachable. And that's not, I'm not saying that as any kind of like, you know, or toot my own horn. That's, if nothing else, is just, you know, not everybody's Guy Atchison, you know what I mean, or is going to have that whole approach to it at all. And yeah, your average Midwestern client, like they aren't into necessarily a biomechanical back piece for some silly reason. I don't know. There's room for all of us here, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll leave a little bit of room for the descenders because I might have another letter right under there. Oh, that one. That's the 6B. It's just like butter, but you got to sharpen it like halfway through each letter, it seems. Oh, I would like to hear from anyone out there, thoughts on doing lettering with coils versus rotaries, because I know that it was a struggle to adapt to rotaries and find a speed and a cartridge combo and machine that would work for me. I would have to have a coil set up just for lettering and names, like for a while as I was kind of transitioning to rotary. So, but now I have a Flight X1 and it works really good for everything, but you know, it's not, you don't have the weight behind it and stuff like that a traditional machine does. So I'm still on the fence about it a little bit. Even though I currently don't even set up a coil machine. I don't even have a power supply set up at all. Just run purely the Flight X1. Oh, see, that 6B got like a little bit blown out on the end of there. So just sharpen it up over here. Plus I'm reaching kind of weird here. There's that G, but I was going to say it's funny that you like the G because it's also a different one. It's like got everything going on at once. What the hell? You know what I mean? It's like a D and a J and fucking everything else just mixed up together. But it's a fun one because it makes an impact at the beginning of a name or a sentence now, doesn't it? It looks very nice when you do it like that. And the baby G is real easy here. So. And fun because, of course, you better be good at that one. It comes at the end of a lot of words and has a cool thing here, which we're going to wait on that part because to see what happens underneath it. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to plug that in and see how I can do that. Give me just a sec, Lauren, while I do my plug-in situation with my phone a little bit better. Should be easy.
Okay. That make me upside down, or did that work? That worked. Yeah, I was kind of regretted I didn't get any lettering from Boog. I got a big cool tattoo from him, but I liked the fact that it was something different that he didn't always do and stuff. So I was like, oh, I should have got a word or two from him while I was at it.
Okay. Let's see. We'll try to rock and roll through this next line here. Let's see. Oops. There's another reason. That's why you don't. That's another reason why you knock the tip down. I think he was watching me when I did that and laughed. I'm talking about in Miami and probably now too, but in Miami, yeah, you're just gonna break the tip off like that if you don't do that. So come on, you gotta knock that down. Well, we'll just work on that as we go here. Reaching on that one a little bit. And let's see. The lead-in thing sometimes looks nice. Yeah, go through. Sometimes you have a little lead-in before the letter, emphasizes that angle and stuff there. I don't know if that maybe was the right place for that one, but let's see. We're gonna go back over here.
I say I love uppercase G's.
What's that?
I've always loved writing uppercase G's.
Oh yeah.
That's nice.
Oh, H is a problem child here. You'd think, oh, H, well, that's nice, right? Yeah, but it's like, I mean, here, this one, the diamond script one is all kinds of crazy cool. And I'm going to try and do it just like that. But it's one when I'm doing them in front of clients, like for some reason, I have a little bit of a problem like making it flow or whatever. Probably just because it's what I'm looking at here is his is all nice and angled and stuff, like, which I'll try to do here. But I think if you know what it is? I think it's the fight of like, when we're taught to write it elementary school style, it's that the upright 90-degree angle kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
And then when you go to do it with your lettering, I'm noticing here, like the ascenders are angled quite a bit, which if you make them too tall, if you make your ascenders on your H a little bit just too straight up like that on a script tattoo, I think that looks a little off. It looks a little wonky. I think Lauren was right. I think I don't have enough joints. I'm going to light another one.
Told you.
Live and learn. Like I said, what I'm going to do here, try and rock and roll right through this next section. Okay, H. Hetch. I'm learning French at the same time, so I'm going to think about the French pronunciation of these two, which is difficult, by the way. Let's see.
See another reason to go to Belgium.
You speak French there?
My grandmother was from Belgium, so yep, she spoke French.
Cool. If I needed another reason, right? Yeah, I mean, I had like tentative plans to do the Venetian one and then don't make it. Like I didn't have my passport and stuff in time. So like getting all that stuff like organized, I don't know, maybe there's people that should help tattooers rein in their ADD and be like, now you need to have this and that. Like,
yeah, you're right.
I'm single, so I have no one to keep me in line here. So let's see. Oh, I like that. That's going to be good, but it's kind of big, but that's all right. Lowercase h is no big deal. Oh, we're going to go right through here. Oh, I now coming on the I is not a fun one. Like it just is too plain. So like you gotta, and it always like starts. It doesn't just seem like an attractive way to like start the sentence, you know, like with the shape. And if you make it too flourishy, it just looks like another letter. And when I look at the, let's see, here's what I'm gonna do. I've never made one like that. I'm gonna refer strictly to the diamond script, which to me looks like a J a little bit more, but we'll do it anyway. gosh, am I going to be able to do that? Let's see. Well, here we go. Which is just like that, like a tall thing. Simple enough. It seems like it should be so simple. What? Man. I can tell he'd just be laughing at me for struggling at this right now. Let's see. Because, yeah, when you're that good at it, just, well, you don't even think about it. Like, he could do that in a breath. So it's like nothing, you know? But lowercase I, that's fun. You always get a different fun way to do that. Oh, there we go. That's more of the Boog style flourish. You want to be sure to have a few different ways you can do the top of that I, just to dazzle your own damn self sometimes. Let's see. Okay, we're going to do this with purpose, like we're trying to get somewhere here, because also it's just so much easier. Oh, they say dance like no one's watching, right? Draw like no one's watching, Lauren, and then you'll do better.
Good advice. Sound advice.
Right? I just made that up. But you got to do that when you're, I came up street shop tattooing, and a lot of times you got someone's parent like watching over. We tattooed people when they were 16 and over and stuff, and you got mom and dad and Chad and Brittany watching and Terry giving you advice on how to set the ink and everything. Oh yeah, Jay.
I remember in back in 07 when I was just lugging around the shop all the time. My boyfriend at the time, his dad owned a street shop in Green Bay, and he was talking about through his apprenticeship, like him getting slapped in the face while tattooing or whatever, like just see what he could handle. It was just funny.
That may be a bit much, and I don't know if I would recommend that.
No, but he could tattoo with no matter what the distraction was. It didn't matter. He could tattoo.
That's what's fun about convention and stuff too. I like the pressure of being on the convention floor and stuff, and you got all your badasses around you and everything, which is always fun. I've had a lot of luck over the years, like just to me, getting a job like at a place that, with other badasses or with people that you admire is more of a challenge and more rewarding than opening your own shop, like by far, Just so happens out here in Humboldt County, it's kind of a small town and there just weren't people there. But I lived and worked in San Diego before and got a job with Lango, if you know about Lango at all.
Okay.
If you're into tattoos, you might know who Lango is. He's pretty well known. Worked with Chris Garver now in New York City and and you just have so much more fun in those types of environments,
When was that at?
Oh man, 2000 and maybe the year 2000. I think it was way back then. The year 2000. Yeah.
That's like that type of experience has got to be like, I don't know. Insane.
I mean, it was a young kid and I didn't realize at the time that it would stay with me for life, living in the same house and spray painting the whole place up and getting into all kinds of trouble and getting wild, traveling across the country, tattooing and on the Greyhound bus, traveling around. And
but even Lang, like that experience.
See if I reach around this. I'm going to try to, favorite letter also M here. Let's see. I'll keep these sort of the same size. Well, I suppose that's, well, in my lowercase m, kind of just a miniature version of an uppercase m. That's not really right, but that looks okay. Kind of, God dang it. Oh, well. It's a mini m. But technically, you would do it a little different than that if it was attached to something. Probably can't see the blue pencil at all, so we'll go back to the regular pencil here for a minute. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Okay, yeah, start from that way. Okay, here's that one weird eye. We'll do that. Dang it. Oh, well. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I got to meet Jack Rudy at convention one time. And as far as people to look up to for lettering and stuff, like, even Boog would have to probably, oh, well, you know what? I swear it's like he's talking in my ear. I was just reminded. I was going to say that Boog would, I was going to say that I think Boog would give it to Jack as far as the lettering master,
Yeah.
And just then I remembered, like in Boog's voice, like him telling me that they hung out together and Jack gave it to him, like passed the crown. Jack said like that Boog was the master. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Jack would give it up to Boog.
Hell yeah.
As far as who was the lettering champ. Because I think if I knew what was behind that, oh, God damn it, I just broke the tip again. That's what's up. You got to get that tip off of there. You're going to break it. Jack has like an iconic style of his own, but not a whole lot of different styles. He definitely can do different styles and has different ways of doing things, but Boog like had just many, many different ways. Probably coming from his more graffiti background too.
Yeah.
Jack doesn't really have graffiti style necessarily. He probably would argue with that point, but not like Boog really. And of course, Big Me's and, BJ Betts, like, my stuff has Obviously, I think BJ Betts was the early influence, and you probably could see that in some of the stuff, but I think trying to diversify it a little bit from that. Like the BJ Betts stuff is good to get sink your teeth into and get that stuff down. And you can accomplish your tattoos and stuff like that. Like if that's all you ever learn. But you will yearn for more flavor in your style after a little while. I guarantee you that. Whoa, hang on. How about that? Technical difficulties. Here we go. Can you see my K here? So they gotta be a weird kind of an angle here. Try to get on in here. And of course, a K is always fun to flourish that out a little bit. Keep that pencil nice and sharp here. Let's see. Sharpen the pencil in. Hey, all right. Well, I'm plugged in here, so I keep knocking that over. I'll be a little more careful here. Let's see. curious if anyone, if there's people in the chat or anyone watching has any other people they follow on Instagram that are really good at lettering. Like I was mentioning Samuel Brigante. If you guys don't follow him, he's amazing at lettering. And Sam Taylor, of course, really good.
Sam Taylor's.
Yeah, he did the
He
reinventing.
did. I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, that's super cool. What, nobody has one suggestion for me? Come on, guys.
Yeah, they're being quiet right now.
Jason? Out there?
Jason's finishing something up at the moment. Otherwise, he said he'd actually be joining in right now.
Cool.
Usually listen to music when you draw or write or do anything like that, work.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always listening to music. I was thinking about how to get that going while we do this. I mean, of course, when you tattoo, you listen to music, but at the same time, you can't really do both at the same time. And I don't think I have enough electronic devices to make it happen.
Hey, I got you.
But yeah, like lately I've been getting into listening to Sade again while I tattoo a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mellow stuff like that. It's another thing I picked up from Lango, which is funny because he's kind of a hardcore kind of a guy, and then here he listens to Sade while he works and draws and stuff.
Yeah, I saw a seminar by Owen Pauls, and he said he regulates the music he listens to. Otherwise, he'd be like, just not. I mean, he'd be moving too quick or too slow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tool, is always good. It definitely helps for stuff like doing that. Or usually got something going in the background, geez, right?
Me too. I got to experience the Equinox. We did a live Equinox festival back in March, and man, it was so cool just seeing this whole thing happen live with Ajalu and Android Jones was fucking cool.
Oh, absolutely. Like extended tattoo family, that's what I'm saying. It's I got a chance to talk with Alex Gray a little bit about that.
Okay.
And he's kind of kindred with the tattoo world, like so many people love his art and get it tattooed on him. And it'd be cool to have a pilgrimage of tattooers up to Cosm sometime, specifically tattoo related event there would be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't see why we don't do that that'd be awesome. And once it's all fully, I don't know if you've ever seen the renderings of Cosm, the new Alex Gray, gallery museum he's putting together, but when it's all finished, it'll be an amazing sight to see, that's for sure. If you've never checked it out, I recommend checking out the Cosm website.
The Cosm?
Cosm, C-O-S-M, yeah. I mean, if they pull it off, and I'm sure they will, like their design is going to be wild. Let's see. Oh yeah, don't you know?
Yeah, I've never heard of that until now.
Awesome, Alex Gray, yeah.
Cool.
You live in Wappinger, New York, which I don't know how far that is from like where Gabe and stuff is, and these East Coasters.
Mhm.
Oh, let's see, we're on O here. We're gonna blue sketch in some O's. Let's see, O. Should be pretty easy to do that. There we go. I'm thinking I gotta work on being more consistent as the placement of all my diamonds and middle effects there. Let's see. Oh, of course, there's a baby O. Well, cool. You see the broken Z guy there. Oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder if other people do this. But do some letters are actually easier for me to write backwards. So like upside down, I should say. S comes out better if you start from the bottom, I think. Cram one in there, that's all right. Yeah, see, it should work. I saw an upcoming event called The Psychology of Tattoo.
Philosophy, actually.
Oh, philosophy. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, she really interested in hearing what she has to say. She actually wrote the book on it, you know. Gabe said they're family friends.
I'm super interested to hear what she has to say about that. I've always thought about it in the psychology matter, why I was thinking about that, because
I've just thought about a lot in those types of terms. I would like to ask her. I'll have to tune in and see if I can chat in or something, or chime in about the prevalence of what you might call, archetypal imagery. Like we tattoo from a basic set of images, sort of, to a great degree. A lot of the things that we tattoo can boil down into just a few categories. Like a flower, a natural thing, a representation of death, a representation of hope, probably a dozen things that we really tattoo mostly out of. Or maybe even smaller. It's interesting to me to think about that, like generally people are striving to get across the same kind of points for some reason with their skin art here,
Yeah, have you happened to see any of the papers she's written?
No, I haven't at all.
Might take your mind on she writes, she's a really good writer, and obviously she's a professor. She wrote some things about that where she argues that art really is, or tattoo art is arguably different. It is an art form that where the living body is an essential component of it. So yeah,
sure.
If you ever get a chance,
that's kind of goes without saying, don't it?
Yeah, but like she's so much smarter when she says it than me over here.
Yeah.
She goes on and on and on. It just like she's a real advocate and a very well-spoken academic level person.
Yeah, I definitely am looking forward to that one. Just like the anthropological one, I thought was really interesting too.
I put a link in the event in the community. If you see that event at all, there's a link to some of her stuff that she's written.
Oh, cool.
Right in there. Yeah, stay on towards the end, because like there'll be maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes to just put your questions in, or zoom in even, I don't know.
Oh, no. Drawback of those soft pencils that they will smudge. Try not to erase too much. So I got this napkin here. Do any drawing classes in high school or anything, Lauren?
Just the standard stuff. I never went anywhere past like collegiate level by any means.
Yeah, that's where I got a lot of my love for it. I bet a lot of tattooers had an influential art teacher in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I sure did. Shout out Mr. Jacobs if you're watching.
Mr. Jacobs?
Mr. Jacobs.
You learn so little in high school. It doesn't, you're constantly rotating through all these different things that you don't really have like an extensive base, I guess you could say. But it's really cool when you can connect ours. My teacher was named Mr. Jones.
Yeah, we have a lot of different curriculums. Like we could do painting and sculpture and free learning, this kind of stuff. And then with study hall, we could go to the art room. So I was constantly in the art room in high school.
All sorts of stuff going on.
see. Kind of wild with that raining in a little bit. Raining in a little bit. Nice. I like this track.
We performed it live, which was just pretty awesome. We called them before on like a video call to be like, hey, you know what, we're doing this. It's happening in an hour. He's like, wait, what? And it was just so cool because like the time zone difference, but he was just such a character preparing for it. There was so much going on in that setup. That audio setup is insane.
I'm hoping for the time after all this that like people are encouraged to get together and do the next one live, and like kind of bring the I think even bring some of the flavor of like having been done that, like, well, we did that thing, now let's do this other thing, like, in a way, if that makes sense. Like, well, if you were part of the first one, maybe you'll want to be a part of the second one.
Exactly. I know that Gabe's doing something in Jiminy Peak in October.
Yeah, that I'm planning on going to for sure.
Yeah, that's good. I went to one of the Paradise gatherings in Colorado, and that was just another one of the experiences.
Now, that is super cool that, like, I got nothing against people who don't tattoo partake in. Of course, it's awesome to me, but like for people to love it that much, like from that standpoint, is really cool to me. We need people like that, of course. Like,
yeah, I mean, if a lot of times, if you think about it like a team, I sit on the bench, but boy, do I sit on that bench,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, it's
all
awesome. No less valuable. Like I say to Gabe, the work that he's done has made him an iconic figure in the business without actually doing tattoos. That's pretty rare. It's pretty amazing.
And next time I make it out to California, I'll have to come see you. I don't know how often I go, but when I do, I go to LA because that's where I work out of. But work remotely right now.
You work remotely out of
LA, yeah, or like Hacienda Heights.
Oh, cool.
But honestly, just like Gabe, I really totally enjoy being home right now in its own way. For the last year, really.
Another regret. I had a booth. I was accepted to have a painting like booth at a Paradise gathering, and I didn't make it to it.
Yeah. Where was it at?
Let's see. The one. I don't remember exactly what town. It was out east, I believe.
Okay.
Or no, it was Arizona or something like that.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think they had. Did he have one in Arizona, Paradise Retreat, Arizona? But I know
No,
I had
the first
painting booth, and I was supposed to be right next to Jed Likeness, and so I really regret not making it.
It's crazy. Places all over the world are just so much different, and in Australia things are completely different. They're looking at pigment bands.
Oh, whatever happened with the European one? Like, because I heard it went through, and then I haven't heard anything since of like repercussions or anything from them.
Oh, I think they just put it on pause. That's about it.
Well, that's something anyway.
Something, but kind of like prolonging, I would say, the inevitable, unless like something super
Oh,
drastic.
yeah, I don't have good feelings about, the petition, or, it's one thing to have hope for it, but like, I think I asked Gabe, like, can anyone provide me like examples of any time a petition ever worked at all?
Yeah, it really just put a pause button on it. There's like this big Congress pigment research thing happening in Amsterdam in August. Interested to see how that goes. I remember being in high school and like Amsterdam was the place to go in the entire world in my mind.
Oh, for sure.
Have you ever been out there?
No, I live in Humboldt County, so it's even
It's
better
second.
it's even better than Amsterdam almost, like, because it's,
Yeah, you're right.
I have I literally have, I'm trying to count, 1, 2, 3, I have like 4 or 5 weed dispensaries within 2 blocks, like walking distance of my shop, or like,
Okay.
they're just popping up everywhere. It's pretty nuts. But not only that, like out here, with your Humboldt clientele, I'm blessed that I never have to buy any. I haven't had pot. I don't remember the last time I bought any. Somebody will come through with a pound or 2 for a tip or something and set me up for a while.
It sounds like you say that. I'm thinking 5 to 7, 5 to 7 years on that.
For a pound of weed?
I don't know. I just like, it's not like that in Wisconsin. Can't have
Wisconsin, they probably are coming up. They're legalizing all across the Midwest, and so
yeah,
might happen soon, hopefully. I know South Dakota just legalized.
Yeah.
Whoa, I thought.
In my mind, I had my blue pencil, but it was the regular one, but that's okay. I did good.
Your other video is off right now, just so you know.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I got to just do this real quick.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm a mess over here, but I got things plugged in, so I think I can unplug this.
Like real life, that's how I feel all the time, but it totally works. It's giving us a chance to kind of get your stuff, what you got so far.
Let's see. I've got issues getting back onto my Zoom calls. Okay, I can back on. You can hear me now, probably.
Yep, loud and clear.
But I'm only on this. I just have to figure out how to get my other thing. But I'm just gonna plug this in and talk to you like this for a minute.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Just letting in. Yeah, you could charge these things. I had them charged all day, and then they just don't last the whole way.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. We're figuring out how to do all this stuff. And anyway, you know, Zooming together is super cool.
Yeah, I dreamt about it when I was a kid.
Oh, you about like television video calls and stuff?
Yeah, I missed my family moved away from Virginia, and I missed them so much. I just wanted to see them and talk to them. It just wasn't possible, obviously.
Am I upside down here again? Let's see.
Yeah, you're upside down.
I orient this. Yeah, I just started Zooming with Gabe during all this stuff. He, you know, he was doing the drunk critique thing.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, and I messaged him. I just sent him a random message like, "Hey, man, whoops." And I was like, "Do you smoke? Like, what about doing a safety meeting or a stoner type of a thing, you know?" And he was like, well, "As a matter of fact, you know," and we've been kind of Zooming regularly ever since then.
Oh, that's where I first saw you. Then I think I came onto one when I was just walking around my house. I think I saw you packing a bowl or something, or rolling a joint.
Probably. Known to do those kind of things. Let's see.
That's a cool spot.
Are you back? Can you see back on my thing? Or I'm not the right
Yep. Last thing, if you can rotate it so it fits the screen, then we're good.
Just don't know why it chooses to rotate it on. So, okay. Almost through it here, so.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Looking good so far. It's should come down and to the right to center the.
Kind of see it if I end up looking here. So. Put that up a little bit higher. Let's see. Is that somewhat doable here? Let's see. I've got this thing clamped to an armrest, and it's also trying to be plugged in.
Yeah.
It's a low rent situation here, so. And also trying to reach in here where I can. Will that be all right for a minute or something like that? Let's see.
Not quite. A little more.
Whoops! Now it's changed.
It's okay. It's given us like an aerial view of the work you've done.
Let's see. Get this to orient that way.
There we go.
Sweet. Phew! I need to spark a joint after that. Too much like work. Yeah, I just hope through all this stuff that I eventually get to meet Philip Lou one of these days.
Man, that would be a treat.
And maybe what'd you say, Brussels?
Brussels, yeah.
Maybe. I could see him going there. Checking that out.
I don't know. I'm not sure who will be going and who's not. I know that the promoter said that they're not 100% sure about anything unpredictable happening. We'll have a better idea in July, but
Sure.
pretty sure everything will. See, my grandmother met an American soldier. She lived in Brussels. During the war, they were in work camps. So she fled the country and didn't go back. I'm really looking forward to meeting my family over there during this time. During the convention. So tattooing takes you places is just really cool for me, and now it's like super personal.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's super cool. And I mean,
it's definitely taken me all across the country and back, you know, like being able to just show up somewhere and work and be accepted and start making money and having fun. It's just been amazing. I know it sounds facetious or whatever, but I can't think of a better job like for an artist or like for someone who doesn't, you know, go to college for a long time for something. But even then, is there a more fun job? You know, there might be more high paying jobs, but like, is there a more fun way to make a good living? You know, like if you can tell me maybe skydiving instructor or something that's a little dangerous, you know, like that'd be fun. But, you know, realistically, for someone who likes to draw or is drawn to being an artist as a kid or almost anything, I can't think of a better calling or more of a blessing than to be a tattoo artist, you know? And not to mention the connection you get to make with people and the blessing it is that they carry on your artwork with them and they really love it, you know, they really think it's something special. It's just the best.
Right.
It didn't have to work out that way, you know, like it could be, I always say like, this could have worked out to be like a $30 an hour job and just like anything else, like a t-shirt manufacturer or stuff. It just didn't work out that way. And another thing is, in an alternate universe, like we should be paying people per square inch for to tattoo on their skin. You know what I mean? Like as an artist, I go and buy the canvas from the art supply store. The art supply guy doesn't come around here and pay me to paint on a canvas.
I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, we should be paying them, you know? Don't tell them that.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that thought.
So we're gonna go like this. If you think about it, it'd be pretty expensive, right? If I asked you, well, how much would you charge per square inch for someone else's artwork, you know, of your skin? Like, well, probably quite a bit.
Exactly.
I also think tattooing is like if you could only get one haircut in your life. Right?
Yeah.
You'd be pretty careful about it.
I'd invent something like laser technology, right?
Yeah.
Just like with tattooing, I mean, you say that, but then it's like, man, I just saw this guy, you know, he got his whole sleeve lasered and just mind-boggling. But yeah, the
Lasered off.
Yeah, we were talking about that recently.
Yeah.
The effect of laser, but yeah, that's good. Choosing one haircut for life, you better be smart.
Regular racing too much. Not there. Okay, let's get this WXYZ before my batteries run out. You know, in French they say double V, not W, and that makes more sense, doesn't it?
It does.
In fact, they say W. That's how you say W.
Yeah. How are you studying French?
On Duolingo.
How's that going?
Oh, pretty fun, you know, like I've really only been doing it for a couple days, but I'm doing pretty good. Like I can say like je suis un chat.
Okay.
That means I am a cat.
All right.
What?
But yeah, that's awesome. What inspired the French?
Oh, I met a French girl.
Okay.
And that's pretty cool. Well, she lives here in Humboldt, but she speaks French as her first language and also speaks English. But, you know, why not, right? It's fun.
That's a really good reason.
I always like to. I'm about to be 45 here, and I'm constantly getting into new things. I got my student pilot's license out here. I fly Cessna 172s, and just got into woodworking and all kind of stuff. I lack focus some nights today.
Who needs it?
But you know what? Actually, cutting back to Jeff Gogway's seminar at Chicago thing. Part of his deal was he was saying, and I took it to heart maybe, more than others, but he was mentioning that he used to play guitar and he used to like to fish and he used to do 100 different things,
Mm-hmm.
And then he decided to get serious about his tattooing and he put all of it aside, the guitar and everything else. And he was a good guitar player,
Mm-hmm.
And he became Jeff Gogway by doing that, by putting everything else aside.
Yeah, it's that ability to hyper focus. You have the love spread out, You have that time and that ambition to kind of put all of it in one spot. That's more than your average person.
Yeah, you really can never blame it on time, right? Like if anyone ever says I don't have the time, they're kidding themselves, You have to make the time. You have just as much time in a day as anyone else ever had. As Jeff Gogway or Philip Liu or anyone else.
Time's only space between what you're doing and what you're about to do, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Philip Liu's like a mythical creature or something, right? Like he does exist, I'm pretty sure, but I think if I see him,
I'll believe it more.
Well, I might pass out, is what I'm saying. No, but I've always come up reading those books about the family, the Liu family irons, and
Still really close, I hear, obviously.
I wonder if it's still possible to get in his books, or if he just doesn't take any appointment with new people for life, or what. Probably. I asked Guy at the Chicago conference how we could get an appointment with him. How does somebody get an appointment with Guy Atkinson? And he said you had to have a time machine because he doesn't take any new clients, But I don't know if that's necessarily the case now or not. I think maybe I'd like to hold out hope that I could still get tattooed by him someday. Guy, if you're listening, can I get a tattoo someday, man? Or what? Come on, man.
You got that time machine?
Well, I got a lot of weed.
It's true.
It's kind of similar, Depends on how much you smoke.
I booked that flight to Brussels because Reinventing, we're going to have a nice booth at this convention and stuff. So I have a layover for a day. So I just happened to be looking at Philip's website in case I want to do a screen share while we're doing this here, and a 2.5 hour drive. What's that for?
Oh, wow.
From Zurich, because I have a layover in Zurich, Switzerland, for a day.
Lucerne, Switzerland, or how you ever say that? Lucerne?
I have no idea. how
The
to say it.
sound.
I just am reading it like in old English, but I'm flying from Brussels there, so that'd be, you never know, you could always try and plan yourself a visit sometime.
Right?
Right away.
Oh, man.
You know, like you said, with him being so international, it's crazy how someone can just, you know, in the 90s and before the internet is like it is
Yeah.
now, being known everywhere. It's just awesome.
Wow.
Living
That's
fast.
intriguing, yeah, like that too for all of us. Like, you know, I came up in Minnesota, you're in Wisconsin, we're in all different places, and you can make that kind of an impact that people from all around the world, small towns, large towns, like,
Yeah.
I was nobody special, like being impressed by his work. And when I was reading, you know, getting all the tattoo magazines in the 90s and becoming a tattooer, like, so were like thousands and thousands of other people, more than 10,000.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, to become like somebody that well known in your profession is really quite remarkable. I've been seeing more like documentaries and like footage of him on YouTube lately where you can get to hear him, and like you almost would never even hear his voice and stuff. But now when you get to on there, he sounds like, you're like, whoa, it's like hearing Jesus like speaking. But he sounds so mellow and cool and stuff, you know?
I thought that the first time I was at like downstairs at Black Ink one time and was in there.
Like,
it was just I was so high and loving just the experience of, like, yeah, hearing his voice was pretty cool.
I felt the same thing, like, oh, it's his voice.
You had to just stop to listen to realize, like,
Whoa.
that's what he's talking about. I think it was in Harlem.
Super like soft-spoken kind of a guy, it seems.
Yeah, per se.
Cool, so I'm just kind of done with my letters here, so I'll go through and clean things up a little bit and maybe add some flourishes here and there to my little thing here. Might even do a bubble thing around the whole thing, so that's cool. Try not to worry about that too much. Well, alrighty there, Lauren.
And that last little bit was really real, like just, you know, that was cool. Meaningful. You know, it's not something you ever want to be writing, but you gotta stay live fast, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
experience so much that people never couldn't even think of comparing. And to do it first, you know, pioneer.
Absolutely.
Do it in his own way. What's your plan to?
Cool.
What's your plan with this piece? Are you gonna put it in a frame or?
Oh, I'm, I was thinking about maybe finishing out some letters and doing a little rose or something maybe over here sometime, and then putting it up in my station or something like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, I got this area over here, and like on the diamond script, you have some cool roses and stuff. So I might sketch. Now that you mention it. Let's see. And a lot of times with the clients, like for little add-on things, like, it's real easy to add on some leaves and stuff here and there. But yeah, I may continue kind of so forth with something like that, and maybe try to make some nice drawing over this way, and maybe another nice something or other over here that comes this way, and that way I can maybe make something frameable out of it. And that way when people come in, they can see that you like to do that stuff, or that you might know what you're doing. Cool. Well, thank you guys. That was awesome. If people are tuning in, I appreciate it. If they watch later, appreciate that too.
People are definitely tuning in.
Cool. So maybe we do this again sometime. Maybe work on a different style, or work on improving on this kind of stuff. If people are into it, let me know. Or you can find me Damen Tesch Tattoos at Instagram, or reach out through me. I think we can message each other or throw comments or stuff on here or whatever.
Right on. Yeah, we'd love to have you. Reach out to Gabe or I, and it'd be great.
For sure. And if anyone wants to come to Humboldt County and guest spot or check out an awesome spot, beautiful redwoods and beaches and stuff like that, just let me know.
All right.
Well, I got room.
Yeah, once you add to it, share some pictures.
Cool.
So we can see
I will. I will. All right, I'm
everybody.
time to walk my pooch and roll up a couple more joints.
All right, yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and you can find this in the replay in our library anytime. Great.
Thank you again, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Big up to the Boog Star. Much love to everyone watching, and I hope we can carry on his work and legacy for many years to come.